Hey kid, you want some drugs? Oh, that's not what this bill's about? Yeah, I didn't think so. Russell, what's this bill about?
Colorado Proposition 122, access to natural psychedelic substances. So what is Colorado Proposition 122 actually gonna do?
Does two things. The first is it decriminalizes psychedelic substances, meaning if you get caught with this stuff, you no longer go to jail if that's still a thing.
It decriminalizes possession,
Use,
growing it, even giving it to people, but it doesn't decriminalize selling it. And that's actually what's already been the law in Denver for a few years now. So this is a statewide initiative that'll decriminalize this stuff across the state.
This has also been passed in Oregon, largely decriminalized, I think a couple years ago, the same way that they're offering to do it here. The second thing that it does is it creates a regulatory regime around how clinics can get formed and how old you have to be able to give it or grow it, things like that.
So starting in 2024, there could be licensed facilities for the use and supervised use of these substances.
That's right.
Okay, so what are people saying about this? Who's for it, who's against it?
The people that are against it, what they say is, drugs bad.
That's basically about right. One of the big opponents to this measure is the Denver Chamber of Commerce, which represents a bunch of the sort of big business interests in town. And the Denver Chamber put out a ballot position that said, no, it's hard enough already for us to police drugs among the people who work in our companies, so why would we put more drugs out into the system by decriminalizing this? There's also some people who say, the research isn't there yet. We don't know whether all of these substances are actually helpful or good, or maybe some of them are really dangerous in ways we don't know yet. There's not enough research done.
We don't know, so if we catch you with it, jail.
So what's the pro argument? Why are people for this?
There's been a tremendous amount of research so far that's shown that this truly is a breakthrough therapy for people with PTSD, depression, and specifically depression that's resistant to other drugs.
Yeah, so the FDA has approved psilocybin as a breakthrough therapy for depression. The federal government is already saying that there's a lot of promise with psilocybin.
People who say that there's not been enough research don't understand. It's been very difficult to research. It's been illegal to research basically for 70 years in this country. The people that have done a lot of this research, it's been underground, it's not peer reviewed, but people who have been using these substances and researching these substances, they say it's pretty darn clear. There's no addictive qualities here. This has largely therapeutic qualities and recreational qualities.
Yeah, okay, so recreational use, medical use. What are the other arguments for why people should be for this?
Drugs good. Suppose you have someone that somehow is just really abusing psychedelics. Do we really want the criminal justice system dealing with them? Is this a place where the courts and jails are going to fix the problem?
Right, so if they catch somebody with psilocybin mushrooms today, like they could be facing prison time.
Yeah.
So this measure will also take those people out of the criminal justice system. It will actually retroactively also push for sentence reduction and release retroactively for people who are already in jail today for possessing this stuff. And frankly, it's hard to imagine how jail is going to help those people anyway.
How are we voting on this?
I'm going to vote yes, because I think there is promise of medical uses of these drugs. And also, frankly, the criminal justice system is not the right place for users to go.
I'm voting yes. War on drugs has been one of the worst policies in America in the history of America. We got to just take it apart bit by bit since the feds aren't doing so.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on mushrooms, especially if you have some personal experience. Drop us a comment. Is this a good measure? Should this really be decriminalized, or are shrooms bad?